Okay, I'll be serious for now. I know you guys should be able to see me now. Hello and welcome to a new unboxing with Mark Tech. This is this is a big one, and I have some bad news. And like every silver lining, I guess, has a dark cloud. In this case, this is the worst case I have. It's the worst box I have ever gotten from anything Apple. It's I mean, it's not shockingly bad, right? But it has like here, right? And the other place was here. It's like scuffed on the other corner as well. Just briefly try to put it in front of the camera. I mean, it's not, I guess it's not a very big deal in the end, right? It's uneven here. We have 3 people watching. That's amazing. I guess that's just family and friends who I sent links to. Let me know in the chat what you would like to see me react to as I unbox. I'll try to make it as personal as possible. So let's all get with the satisfying stuff. Now, I've said before, those things are not as satisfying as they used to be, but at least they are more environmentally friendly now. And you can listen to it get ripped, and you can see it get ripped. Yep, I'm the master of unboxings, I know. So the first opener goes to all of you guys. All the incredible support that my channel has gotten. Yeah, because it's dented here, it's like, it's harder to slide out than usual. Oh, there's a second one. I'm just dumb, I guess. This is my first new iPhone in 2 years, so I haven't updated to like I think it was like less environmentally friendly, and therefore I mean more convenient on my 13 Pro Max. So I don't know how exactly it was for the 14 Pros. So we have a white box. No matter if you get the Pro or the regular, you just get a white box with whatever iPhone you have. Then on the back it just says what your iPhone actually is. It's actually is it all correct? Like, they don't even bring up that many detailed specs points. Like, they say Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, and GPS. Like, they don't mention that it's like Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3 and stuff like that. I have to let this stream run from personal hotspot just because my home Wi-Fi has been so bad over the last couple of days. But regardless, now that we've solved this, they aren't as tight as they used to. Of course, here we have like the traditional like opening for the huge camera bump. You guys will get to see the color. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm so glad they didn't go for the natural titanium look. Not for any kind of like, not because I disliked it, but just because I'm not a huge fan of gray. And this looks blue, by the way. Like, I know people have tried to say it's like barely blue or some bullshit like that. That's absolutely not the case. This is blue. Sure, if it gets like super dark, you might lose some of that blueness, but I don't think that's a big issue. So checking it out and keeping it for a little later, we have designed by Apple in California. It's just some info stuff, I guess. Usually that's where the AirPods would be, but we also have the SIM tray opener. I don't need it. I use only eSIMs. Now we finally have the star of the show, I guess one could say, because it reflects on something in the actual device, which is the USB-C cable. Now this is a braided cable. It actually feels very nice. I love Apple's braided stuff. So let's open it. See how well it comes together, and just move my Mac a little like this. And that paper stuff is like, I'm all for it. It's like, at some point I wish that maybe they would put like a little clip on the actual cable, and then it would be like hooked into itself basically. So you don't need any extra stuff. I guess that would be more practical and more environmentally friendly in the end. Oh, it's actually really nice. Yeah, it's definitely not long by most standards. It's 1 meter, but I'm happy with it. Now it is USB 2 speed, so if anybody wants to do like high speed data transfers to your Mac or your PC, you will have to get a different cable, maybe even something like Apple's Thunderbolt cable, or just try to look out for cables that are specifically labeled as USB 3. They will be more, well, I don't know if they're actually more expensive than Apple's cables. They're definitely cheaper than Apple's Thunderbolt cables, but again, this is a USB 2 cable, so you're not getting much here. It's actually fascinating that there's like way less in the box for the iPhone that costs twice as much as the Apple Watch Ultra. Oh my god, the titanium feels so good and soft, like those like soft edges. This is what I've always wanted. I never understood why Apple went with like the absolutely hardest edges. Like if I can organize an X, or like maybe I'll later switch to like my FaceTime camera and then compare it to my 13 Pro Max, but this feels, it's so light, it's insane. Like I don't even need to compare it. It feels weightless in comparison to my 13 Pro Max. Now obviously I know that 222 grams is by no means actually weightless, but it also happens to be like so freaking comfortable in the hand. It's so well balanced. Now I'm actually getting a little angry at Apple. Like there was so much room and like for Apple to put in just more weight in terms of a much better heatsink inside. Yeah, like they could have made this like another 5 grams heavier, put all that weight into a little bit of copper, or like even like a heat pipe that just transfers all the heat throughout the device. You can see the camera bump here, right? It's substantial, but because the device is actually thicker, it doesn't protrude as much as one might expect just from the spec side alone. The other point is, I would also say the device does not actually feel any thicker than, for example, my 13 Pro Max does, and that's, I guess, because of the brushed edges here. Like they just flow into the glass so nicely that it just feels like a natural extension of your hand, way more so than any like iPhone 12 and newer phone. Now I would still say that something like an iPhone 10, 10s or 11 are more comfortable by default, but this is the best like flat design that there is, in my opinion. So getting to some ASMR stuff. Oh, it doesn't sound as much. I expected a little more. So you have the screen. You guys will get the first unboxing here from me. The first turning on. Get the Apple logo. Centered, just like the Apple logo on the back. I guess we can time it how long it takes at some point. But obviously, like, first impression will count. My god, that's like really slim bezels. Yes, this is like end game stuff, to be honest. Like, I mean, sure, could you theoretically like reduce that bezel even further? Like, look at it. It's beautiful, but would you really need it? Now, this is also my first dynamic island device. I obviously had the 13 Pro Max prior, so this is something new to me. Just put it in English. Can I set it up without an account just for show? Just so we can experiment on some stuff together. Oh, I actually, like, you guys cannot see it now, but for a second, the dynamic island actually, like, disconnected, and I could see that it's, like, actually a pill and a hole. That's actually interesting. I guess I'll go with default size. I guess my eyes are still somewhat young enough. Quick start setup with another device. Nope. Can I not do that? Oh, setup without another device is an extra button. Then just make it sure it's English and German. And it's actually interesting, like, connect to Mac or PC. Well, I guess I cannot, like, I don't really remember, like, my my Wi-Fi credentials from password. Wait, can I actually see that? Maybe here, so that I can type it in. Wi-Fi. No, it does not show me. Maybe I'll just like. Wait, can I not skip that? Choose another network. Does it show up in my Wi-Fi here? Yeah, it does. Okay, good. I guess I don't need to really hide my Wi-Fi password from you guys, but I want to get into the devices like quickly and as securely as possible for now. So again, if you're in watching live, which we have a few people now, please let me know what you would like. Well, okay, it's basically just setting up at this point. I actually forgot how long it takes at this point. Usually, like, because I obviously like put my account on it right away whenever I restore something, it's oh yeah, and okay, yeah, so we need to install the software update. Yes, I will be updating it now, I guess, then. So, I guess that will preclude us from doing any actual testing here. I kind of assume that there isn't actually that much more that I could say right now. I'll probably do a stream like later on this evening where I will react to how the device actually works. Actually works relatively fast, probably because my Wi-Fi network is not actually being taken up by my Mac. So this is like I am shocked by how comfortable it feels. Let me just briefly change some stuff here. So I can just show you. So I know this is like worst quality and I apologize. But we need to do that in order so I can give you actually like more data. My god, like the quality difference between a FaceTime camera and like the iPhone's back camera is like tremendous. So, but because I can do this, here, I'll disconnect it from my Mac. So look at this. Now this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. The blinking light that you see is Face ID trying to authenticate. You see the camera bumps are actually not like, oh my god, this camera bump is even bigger. Wow, that's crazy. The satin finishes on the back, I would... I don't know which one feels more comfortable. I'm just so taken back by just how much more comfortable the overall device feels. Like the weight difference is substantial. I know it's 10%. I know it's less than 10% technically, but you really feel it. It's like it's a no-brainer. I would also say that just the edges here on the 13 Pro Max, look, they are hard. Like there's nothing you could do like with them in terms of like your body is not as hard as the edge is what I'm trying to say. Well, look at here. Look how soft it looks. Now, I do like the shiny look on like images. I don't like it in real life. I don't know if you can see like the smudges that it collects easily. I'll just try to put some dirt basically on it. So if you look here, right, you can see some of the smudges. It's also extremely reflective and shiny, right? Yeah, it's like a mirror, which I guess some people like that look, but I really prefer this. One, now I have to say in real life, titanium looks pretty much like aluminum. I know that's like not the most popular opinion to have here, but also like there's one criticism I have with this phone, and that's that it like one major one auto by default, which is that it still has a SIM tray, right? You can see that here. Why is my point? Oh, it recognized what I just did as well. I guess we can celebrate kind of the fact. Does it recognize that it's a double thumbs up, or if we go like double peace sign? Yeah, let's celebrate the arrival of the new iPhone. Of course, it has USB-C. Now, I did obviously bring that up already when we talked about the included cable, but it is nice. Now, when it comes to speakers, it has 4 holes on the not actually a speaker side, and then 6 holes on the other side. Again, this is more than for aesthetics. The stereo speakers is because it's here and here. Like, it's not stereo speakers because you have 2 speakers here. It's just Apple tries to have it look as symmetrically as possible. Well, here it's also 4 plus 6 holes. Whether or not those holes look any better, I guess you can just like, I guess the important hole actually is the USB-C here. You have the action button on the side. It's actually a little hard to show. You know what? I've shown enough of my 13 Pro Max thus far. I think it can go back up. There is my main camera. It's very important that it doesn't hit my microphone, because then everything catches on fire. Yeah, it works actually really well. I wish, guys, I had like a professional camera for you to capture it all, but especially as I transition to using this as my camera, quality will go up like by a lot. I wonder if there's like a noticeable impact if I switch to a USB 3 cable versus like transferring it over either Bluetooth or the Lightning cable. I guess it would be like peer-to-peer Wi-Fi usually. So the action button, yeah, you can see it much better here. Now, when it comes to smudges, I've been touching it a lot, and I am nervous and sweaty, you could say. So you can see them like collecting around the buttons. I don't see much of a problem with it though. Now, how will I protect it? Now, hello. I guess we have an extra viewer. No, don't touch my microphone. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Yeah, you can just lie down. No, not eating the box. Please. Yeah, that's a sign of protest. So I have this. This is the Midnight Blue fine woven case. Now, I have been on the record that I don't think fine woven actually feels bad in the hand, in comparison to something like this for my 13 Pro Max, which is the leather case that was still available. My mom will be getting my iPhone 13 Pro Max and this case. But I am considering getting basically a successor to this, which would be a proper Pitaka case. Or I guess something very similar, like everything Apple Pro has like similar stuff. Like, she's like lying directly on my cables. It's insane what she does. So let me just try to put it in, right? I guess it won't make like the animation that you usually associate from MagSafe accessories. Oh, it's a little tight. Ooh, I don't like the sound. I mean, as you put it in, like, I mean, it doesn't look bad, right? The blues don't really work that well together for the most part, I would argue. Like, those are very, very different shades of blue. Now, here, you can look down here, right? This is where the blue of the titanium still comes out. In comparison to this blue, it just starts looking black. Now I will be using it for like 2 weeks or something to truly test it out. But then, yeah, well, it starts. I actually have to say, the more you touch fine woven, the worse it feels. The buttons, really like how Apple handles buttons here. It's actually really hard to like click this button in like my mind. Because I always want to like exit, just move it around because I associate it with the with the mute switch. The power button is still the same. Now, obviously, I'm going through the case, but I think most people wear cases. Some people have complained that Apple's fine woven cases don't leave like enough room for USB-C cables that aren't Apple's, right? So if we go here and like plug in USB-C, there's plenty of room still around that port, I guess. But when you compare it to like older lightning-based stuff, even though Lightning by itself is a thinner port, I actually have to say I have to agree, right? Like this hole is disproportionately larger than this one. Now, in comparison to the overall thickness of the device, it might be that they're basically identical, but USB-C is a thicker port. It's more likely that the cables for it will have like a thicker, whatever this portion is called, right? The white one here. And I've actually had some problems with my iPad, and I'm using like a Logitech case. And I've had some problems where some cables just don't go in nicely because it has like a very tight opening around the USB-C port. So set up without another device, continue. So we are in the middle of the setup process now. My first impressions are extremely positive, but not of the case. Just try to put it off. Maybe I can try to so you guys can hear it. It's really... like the way this material responds, like Apple needs to drastically change it for like the next generation. It's also surprisingly hard. Like I get why leather is hard, but like, I mean, it's not hard to pull off in general, but it creaks a little, right? It makes like little sounds that, I mean, from leather you kind of know. Well, it does, I mean, it's a very new case. It won't like do any sounds, but I don't know. No, for now, I probably will use it without a case and just hope for the best. Will I do like Jerry Rick everything style testing on it? Yeah, definitely not. Okay, and that basically concludes it. It's actually interesting. I think I've put it into a bug. Look at this, guys. I cannot switch that off. Like, I mean, I can just turn on and off the device, but it's like all the buttons work and stuff like. Oh, I had to click the power button. Wait, what? Why would wait? But there was like a cancel button down below. Why did it not want to listen? I guess it's just a little temperamental at the beginning. Yeah, I don't think there's that much else to add. Like, I mean, the cameras are big, right? But when you actually go in, like, this is the 5x camera here. It does, I mean, it does not look like the periscope lenses, right? Which have, like, an angular, I guess, aperture, you could say, there. Or at least it appears like a rectangular. This just looks like the evolution of the iPhone. Now with USB-C, by the way, like if you want to have some speaker comparisons with just like the immediately last generation and with the Galaxy S23 Ultra, like look at MaxTag. Apparently this has way better speakers than even the 14 Pro Max or the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is insane that Apple made this device lighter. Technically, it even has a slightly larger battery. Like, I don't know how much they really compromise potentially on cooling. Maybe they really really believe that the way they built like the aluminum internals and the way they like melted them together on a molecular level with the titanium, maybe they really believed this would work, but like that it would add a lot to heat dissipation. But for now, I think the immediate benefit is just how lightweight it is, that it's relatively compact. The design they've chosen for the edges is very, very good. The bezel is extremely small. I do like Dynamic Island. Next year, if you're somebody who experiences problems with like Dynamic Island, based on the fact that it's technically a little deeper into the screen than the previous notches, it might start cutting into like very wide videos and content like this, like 2:1 videos. Then you might be better off waiting for the next generation where we'll get slightly taller screens, which will result in Dynamic Island being a little less further into the screen on a like a percentage basis. Yeah, there's it's amazing. This is just an iPhone, right? Like 3 cameras, LiDAR, a flash, and a microphone on the back, a centered Apple logo. Like with so much that changes, so much still stays the same. And I'm incredibly impressed with this device thus far. I'll be setting it up now. I will be probably updating it to iOS 17.1. The beta came out yesterday. I think that given the enthusiast nature of my channel, it kind of is the most interesting thing for me to like do. Set up for myself. Face ID. Guess I can show Face ID briefly, right? I mean, you guys know how it is. So you have to position your face. Here you can see my face. Okay, yeah. And then move iPhone a little lower. Okay. So actually, wait, did that change? Hold iPhone 25 to 50 centimeters from your face. Oh, and now it starts. I didn't know that Face ID liked a lower angle. That's actually interesting. Use Face ID with a mask not for now. I believe I don't have a mask right now on me. And Face ID, wow, this was the fastest Face ID setup ever for me. Gonna set up a passcode. It's a beautiful screen, but since I'm not testing it yet out for like 2000 nits or anything, it works like how I expect it to. Also, by the way, this I always do basically, well, wait, don't transfer anything is the wrong way to put it, Apple. I transfer it from my account, but I don't do like deliberate iCloud backups. I do backups just for safety stuff, if I want to restore the exact same settings. But whenever I set up a new device, I usually set it up from scratch, and then I go through my old device. I know it will not necessarily be recommended for all of you guys, but I always have in my head what exactly is where on my old phone, and I do prefer it fresh. I don't want to deal with saying, oh, transfer it from old device, and then it downloads dozens of apps that I might not really be using anymore. So for me, it's don't transfer anything here. And then it's Apple ID stuff. So I guess there isn't that much more than I can contribute here. I just can say once again just how grateful I am for the channel's growth, right? By the way, does this currently mute? Yes. By default, I'll just briefly delete my email here. I wanted to like turn off like the clicking sounds, right? By default, it does the silent switch. Oh, it actually works really fast. I kind of expected it to need just ever so slightly longer press. That's super comfortable. So yeah, for now that's it. Please let me know what you thought. This is a 30-minute video, which I guess is the shortest that I've done in a while. And I think I'll see you either later on this evening or sometime tomorrow. With that in mind, this is Mark Tech tuning out.